Go ahead and start. We'll start in mountain pose. Beginning our practice here. So just go ahead and make your way up to a standing position. Just take your time, no rush, as you settle in. Gather all your props that you want to use and make your way up to the top of your mat. And you might stand with your feet about hip distance apart, toes pointing forward, or just in a stance where you feel comfortable. You can really begin to root and connect to the ground beneath you. And to help with that settling, just get reacquainted with your breath. You might start with a few deep breaths, yes. Breathing in deeply through your nose. And you might even exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. Maybe once again like that. Nice. And you can just continue with slow, steady breaths, being mindful of your breathing. Even add a little movement. There you go. A little rolling of your shoulders if you'd like. Check in with your neck. Just a nice body scan. Just working your way down the body perhaps. Noticing how you're feeling today. What your body might need today from your practice. We'll be focusing on hip openers, in particular different styles and ways of moving into pigeon pose. And just continue to connect, moving inward. Again, your slow, steady breaths. As you inhale, you might feel the breath rising to fill your lungs, followed by a slow and controlled exhale. Just drawing your navel inward towards your spine as you're able, connecting to your center. A light engagement of the abdominal lock, contracting the abdominal muscles. Deeply connecting. Again, breathing in to feel even the lengthening of your spine, feeling a little taller, even lighter up top, breath rising, filling up your lungs. And your exhale, drawing belly in, connecting. Good. Hold on to the sensation. Let it guide you and support you in your practice. A reminder that it is your practice. As you've done your body scan, having checked in with how you feel today, move in the way that you need to move. As I provide some suggestions on our movements, our flow, our postures, feel free to modify them, change them. Listen to what your body needs. Let's take 3 more breaths. Using these breaths, bring some warmth and energy to the body and preparing your body to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and up. Nice, reaching up, a nice stretch. And exhale, we'll fold forward. So hinging at the hips, bend your knees as much as you need to and make your way down. You might touch your toes, but of course you don't have to touch your toes. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, your knees, and extend your spine. Feel like you're coming forward, even a little weight shift towards your toes. So you feel like you're coming forward. And then exhale, settle into your feet, and fold downward. And just hold this forward fold for a few breaths. And again, this could be a partial fold. Your hands can rest on the legs a little higher up if you need to. Or just bend your knees a little bit more so you can touch your toes or the ground. And just as you did in mountain pose, another body scan, checking in, add some movement here if it feels good. Sometimes that heaviness in the upper body allows for kind of this dangling sensation. Shaking things out, rolling the shoulders. Maybe nod yes a few times, shake your head no, just to loosen up the neck, shoulders, upper back. These are certainly places where we tend to hold a lot of tension.
A little sway of the upper body left and right, just to release a little bit in the back and your hips. Let's do another halfway lift. You'll inhale, slide your hands up to the shins, perhaps extending your spine. Feel the crown of your head lead you forward. Exhale, melting back down. And let's get ready to stand. Shifting your weight into your heels, bend your knees, and feel like you're going to sit down. Extend your spine, looking forward, and take your arms out to the side, and you just grow tall. There you go. Reaching into the air for your stretch. And exhale, hands to heart or arms down to your side, either one. We'll just pause here for a moment. Nice deep breath. Let's go through that sequence once again. Our half salute. Here we go. Inhale, reaching upward. Feeling the lengthening through the sides of your body. We exhale to fold forward, just moving with breath. Remember to move at your own pace. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, melt. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up. We're just going to keep this in motion. With the exhale, take chair pose, shifting the weight back into the hips and heels. Extended arms, they can be straight. You can certainly bend your elbows here. We're not going to be here too long. You'll breathe in, and the exhale, diving out of your seat towards your toes, forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway. Exhale all the way down. Bend the knees so you can bring your hands to the floor and walk or step or even hop both feet back into plank pose. Settle into the pose. Feel the full length of the entire body just as you did in standing. Energy moving through the crown of your head, even through the heels of your feet. Pushing firmly into the floor with the hands. Strong hands, strong arms. Breathe in. With the exhale, bend your knees a little to send your hips up into the air. Just a shortcut to downward facing dog. I usually do this first time, and you can certainly do that the entire time as we go through this sequence. So finding yourself in downward facing dog. You might hold here in stillness, but certainly welcome to add movement. Checking in, feeling into what the body needs. As you prepare your body to move, take a full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, bend your knees to walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of your mat to your forward fold. There we go. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, that same weight shift towards toes, come forward, and exhale, back down we go. Okay, then inhale, reverse your swan dive, coming all the way up, reaching into the air. Good. And exhale, bring your arms down to your side or hands to heart center. And just pause for a moment, returning to the fullness of the breath. Yeah. Excellent. Continuing our flow, adding on. Inhale, reaching up. Might even tip your chin up, looking up. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward, bend your knees. Find the ground. Inhale, rising halfway, or just feel the extended spine. Exhale, all the way down we go. Bend your knees, plant your hands. Hop or step back, plank pose. Again, draw that strong straight line. As before, you can take this into downward facing dog, taking the shortcut, or with your next exhale, bend your elbows to finish the push-up. Coming down to Chaturanga Dandasana. There we go. Inhale, find a back bend. It might be upward facing dog, or cobra pose, or somewhere in between. Exhale onto your toes, lifting hips into the air. You might need to adjust your feet. Maybe tiptoe forward just a little bit so you can sense that your hips are nice and high. If you need to, adjust your hands on the mat, and then we'll continue our flow. Whenever you're ready, and inhale to extend your right leg up behind you, reaching back. And exhale, right foot to the top of the mat, landing near right hand. Left heel will turn to the floor. That's it. Finding that centering, good balance so your hands are now light, so you can easily hinge from hips. Long, tall torso, reaching up into the air. There's our first warrior. Exhale, let's just hinge and fold. Make our way back down to the ground. Plant the hands, slide the right foot back, plank pose. Finish the flow as you'd like. That might be Chaturanga. And you can also bring knees to the floor first, then lower your chest. Your back bend might be a low cobra. It could be Sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adjusting the body as you arrive in your posture.
When you're ready, yes, and inhale to extend left leg up, reaching back. Exhale, stepping through, left foot to the top of the mat, light landing. Right heel will turn to the floor. Feel that good connection to the earth behind you. Find your center. You're there. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Make your way back down. Plant your hands. Slide the left foot back. Complete the series as you'd like. Taking your time, just moving with breath. Modify if you need to. Change it up a little as you'd like. Meeting in downward facing dog. Yeah. Maybe a breath or two in down dog. We're going to do some floor work. So you're going to gently kneel down. Sit back briefly in hero just to get off the hands, but we'll sit off to the side. Then swing the legs around to the front. Might want to scoot so you're sitting in the center of your mat. And go ahead and carefully roll down onto your back. Let's do a few things here. So as you draw your knees in, you might add some movement. Check in with your breathing. Part of the body movement here might be your feet. So circle the feet. Circle the ankles. You might flex the feet. Point. Do that a few times. And do a variation of happy baby pose. Just keep hold of your knees or shins, a light flex of the feet, and then take the legs wide, okay, opening them out to the left and right sides of the room, and just hold there. Your triceps or elbows might even touch the floor, and just hold open like this. So instead of kicking the feet up into the air for happy baby, I just think of this as another variation of that pose, just to start that stretch and lengthening sensation in the inner legs. Since we are doing some variations of pigeon, it does target that part, but also continuing that theme of hip openers. Maybe one more breath here. Okay, and then bring the knees together, and then plant the feet into the ground, ready for a bridge pose. Inhale to fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty the belly, engaging your core, then feel your hips lift right up into the air. Different ways you can be here. You can just lift the hips, hold yourself just like this. Other ways to support your body for sure are using your hands and actually lift and hold yourself up with your hands. Or even just using your arms, meaning bend your elbows so your arms are at 90 degrees and just press down into the ground with your triceps and elbows. That might even lift and help open and support the upper body a little bit more. If you happen to have some props near you, like blocks, you can slide the blocks underneath you and sit on the blocks. Okay, just feeling the energetic body. Yes, it is a back bend, but paying attention to maybe the upper thighs, right below the belt line, just kind of that region of the legs, kind of getting into the hip flexors. Okay, these are certainly areas of the body that can get tight on us. So bridge pose can be one of those postures to start lengthening and opening. All right, let's come out of the pose by stepping the feet forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air, just making space so you can make your way back down to the ground. Yeah, feel free to extend the legs out front, reach the arms behind you, a little light stretch in these opposite directions. Nice breath right there too. And then when you're ready, just hug both knees back into chest. Start rocking forward and back, and a good breathing effort with an exhale, eventually perhaps rocking your way up to seated or even rolling to the side to sit up if you need to, and moving into boat pose. Your version of boat. This is the version I typically move into with bent knees, initially holding onto the legs to extend the spine. You can certainly hold onto the legs for the duration or release. Free up the hands. You can play with extending the legs, even pointing the toes. Just something active in the feet. You can flex the feet or point the toes. Okay. All right, let's move. Breathing in. Feel like you're lifting up, floating off the ground. Exhale. Cross legs, hands in front or to the side, so you can swing the feet back or hop or step back, plank pose. There's our straight line. And together we'll take a shortcut to downward facing dog. Make sure your feet and hands are in a good place for you. And we'll continue our flow. Inhale, extend right leg up, reaching back. We're going to open the hip, bend the knee, bring the heel down towards your backside. A little lift of the knee. You don't have to lift it very high, just so you can notice or feel a light turn or rotation of the hips, opening up towards the right side of the room.
And for this situation, making sure hands are pressing firmly into the floor so you don't feel like you're dipping or sinking into your left shoulder. Just check in with that. Next exhale, we'll unwind the body, then step right foot to the top of the mat. Once landed, turn left heel to the floor, find that center. Take your time if you need to, then hinge from hips. Rise up, reaching into the air. Exhale, turning to the left side of the room. Dropping arms to parallel. There's our warrior two. Good. Yes, settling into place. Adjust the feet. Nice. Good. Then side angle pose. Reaching out. Angled upper body. Rotate here. Staying up high if you want to. Perfectly good for this posture. You can make your way down lower if you desire. Reaching towards the floor or actually touching the ground or using a block. Nice opening. And even a left side body stretch. All right, we're breathing in. And exhale, we're going to carefully turn. Bring the hands to the floor. Stay here. You're going to rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Basically, the heel lifts briefly here in this runner's lunge. Hold for a second. And we're going to gently set the left knee onto the ground. And if you need to pad that knee, maybe fold your mat underneath it because we're going to be on our knee for a second. Okay? Go ahead and rise up so your hands are on your thigh, right there. Actually, lean back a little bit just to take some of the weight off this front leg and wiggle the foot forward. Take it way out front. So we're changing this from a 90-degree angle, okay, to something further out like that. Okay, then hands again on your thigh. A gentle press right in the middle of the thigh to help extend the spine as you inhale. And the exhale is a whole movement of the hips going forward. So we move that foot forward so when we lunge, the knee will end up staying nicely aligned over the heel or ankle rather than shooting past it, okay? So that's the kind of the situation we want to be in. So different formations here. If you stay up tall, let me get a little lower here. If you stay up tall, like so, you're going to feel this in your back. So it is a back bend, okay? But you can get out of that sensation already just by leaning forward. Stay like this if this feels good, or bring hands down to the floor on the inside of the right foot. And you might be able to kind of just lower yourself a little bit more. Now what might happen here, at least it does for me, is since my right leg, I'm going to mirror you. Since my right leg is right there, I can only go so far. But if we mimic that happy baby pose, we're going to take that right leg out to the side, even turn it out, creating much more space, which may allow you to go deeper if you want to go deeper. Not that you have to, but it does provide a little bit more space. Yeah, so you might come down to your elbows or bring in a block, something like that. Okay? So we're going to take some time here, and you don't have to hold the entire time. You can always modify or even come out of the pose. Maybe you start somewhat deep, then you modify and it's less deep, and then you're finished. Notice what is happening here. The left leg that's extended out behind you, just encouraging more of that lengthening in the left hip flexor. Maybe a little bit more workings in this inner right leg. Excellent. Yes, you want some good breathing here. Even feel free to add very subtle movements or just gentle movements as a way of kind of massaging into the hips, the joints. We're just going to take 2 more breaths. If you happen to be down on your elbows, carefully, slowly make your way back up to your hands. If that right leg is still out to the side, keep it there, because you're going to kind of walk your hands over to your left side so you can kind of lean to your left, so you can kind of swing or slide that right leg back behind you. Just make your way to hands and knees for a way of realigning the body. And then cat and cow, so a lifting of the head and heart. And then rounding the back with the exhale. So a few times like that. So our cat and cow. We'll get set up for the other side. You might step the hands forward a little bit, tuck your toes with an exhale, lift your knees and hips into the air. A return to downward facing dog so we can do the other side. Whenever you're ready, an inhale, extending left leg up and away. There it is. Bend and twist open.
Okay, again, don't have to lift it very high, just a mild rotation in the spine, but it opens the hips to the left side of the room. Hands are pressing firmly into the floor. Be aware if you're sinking into your right shoulder. Yeah, just adjust, that's it. And with an exhale, unwind and step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor. Take your time with this, because you want to be able to set yourself up nicely for support. Rise into your Warrior One. Exhale, opening to the right side of the room. Here's our Warrior Two. Perfect. Nice adjustment of the feet. Strong foundations. Yeah. Here's our side angle pose. Reaching out, angled upper body. Rotate the arms. High and low with the arms. Checking in with how this feels in the inner legs. Perfect. Here we go. Getting ready for that long lunge. Breathing in. Exhale. Carefully turn. Fold. Bring the hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot, or on either side of the foot, either one. Rising up on your tiptoes behind you. Just hold this runner's lunge for a second. And then gently set the right knee onto the floor. Pat it if you need to. Then you'll rise up. Here. Lean back. So we can adjust that left foot and get it way out front, so you know that you'll be lunging forward. Okay. And when you're ready to go, and inhale, making sure the torso is lifting. You're trying to make some space in that belt line, so you can exhale and move into that space. Okay. Staying up high, of course, creates the back bend, or get out of the back bend, or take the hands to the floor on the inside. Staying here for the lunge, or adjusting the foot and leg. So it's going out to the side, making much more space. Taking your time, since we are taking some time in the posture. So take your time to find your personal depth of the pose. And again, that might change or shift through this little segment. Modifying, adjusting, maybe those subtle, gentle movements for the massage. Maybe finding position maybe that's a little less intense. Being mindful of the body seems to be reacting to the pose. If you're moving it kind of into stress mode, okay? If you know your own triggers for feeling stressed, see if you can kind of back out of that, move out of that. Rely on breath too. Two more breaths. Nicely done. If you happen to be on your elbows, come back up onto your hands. Take your time to get there. Once you all are a little taller, be a little lean to your right side so we can slide. Then take that left leg back behind us. Hands and knees, ready for your cat-cow flow. So go at your own pace there. And even add other movements to this if you want to. If this is good, stay here, or if it feels nice to maybe add some movements of the hips side to side or circles, go ahead and add those positions and movement. Two more breaths. We'll make our way back into downward facing dog. Again, you might step the hands forward a little bit, tuck your toes, lift the knees, let the hips float into the air. Nice long spine. When you're ready, breathe in, fill yourself up, get ready to move. On the exhale, hop or step forward to the top of the mat. Both feet stay on your feet. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, fold. A little weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Let's come up, reaching to the sky. Yes, exhale, arms to your side this time. There we go. Finishing that whole segment. Check in, movement, breath. Alrighty. So we talked about pigeon pose. We're going to do a pigeon pose standing, okay? I'm going to give you an option of either doing this freely, just on your mat, or against a wall, okay? So let me just show you quickly. So this is the pose we're getting into, okay? So you can do it freely like this or against a wall. Two ways you can do it against a wall. Hands on the wall and sit, okay? Or sit So you fall into the wall, okay, and do that way, okay? So this is how we'll get into the pose. So I'll do it freely, and you're welcome to find a space along the wall if you'd like. So once in mountain pose, maybe just bend the knees. Actually, you do want to bend the knees significantly here. Put some weight into the right foot. Good exhale to connect to your core. Picking up the left foot, bending the knee. And imagine you're kicking a soccer ball, okay, with the left foot. So you can cross that ankle, left ankle over right thigh. So we're here. Flexing this left foot so everything stays nice and stable and strong. Hands can either be on hips or even just to the leg here. Now imagine you are sitting back into that chair, so your hips are going back, heart going forward, so the torso is relatively long here. Okay, just keeping that extension, sitting back. Again, a wall could be here that you're leaning against. In this gap, I guess you can say, between chest and shin, okay, you can start to close that gap. And that might put a little bit more sensation in the hips. At least for me, it's outer hip and glute. This is a balancing pose, so there's good core connection. So with the exhale, drawing belly in. 2 more breaths. And with a good exhale, again, giving energy to move or standing up. Go ahead and just uncross that leg. Plant the foot, balanced on 2 feet here. Let's take the arms up into the air, finishing, and exhale, arms to your side. Okay, so we're balancing on that right side, so there's probably a lot of energy over there. So shake it out, move it, stretch the toes, ankles, check in with the hips, all of that. Okay? All right, if you feel like you need that wall, go ahead and use the wall for the other side, okay? Same thing, mountain pose, we have a good bend in the knees, we're putting weight into that left foot. Core connection, engaging so we can pick up the right foot, kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh. Hands can be on hips, or as you start to lower, like you're sitting back into a chair, hands can just rest on the leg, or your arms, that's nice. Because what this eventually could move into is, that arm balancing posture. If you can get low enough, your hands, there you go, can come down to the floor. And you kind of lean forward and actually balance on your hands. That's a little extra there. But here, working with balance and that hip opener. So notice, feel, good. Good extended spines, good breathing and core connection. 2 more breaths. Look at that. Rising as you're able. That's it. We're uncrossing, lifting the knee, plant the foot, balance on 2 feet, both arms up. Just finding that realignment, arms to your side. There you go. Shake it out, move it out, breathe it out. Done, Good, nice work. That's not an easy pose. All right, back to our flow. Here we go. Inhale, reaching into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Down towards toes. That still can be a partial fold if you need to. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale all the way down. Plant your hands. Hop or step back into plank pose. Come down if you like. Chaturanga Dandasana. Okay, modify if you need to. Use the shortcut if you want. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Moving with breath. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Bend and twist open. And unwind. Step through right foot to the top of the mat for warrior 1. Left heel will turn to the floor. Find your strong base, then rise. First warrior, inhale. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Left side of the room. Adjust the feet. You've arrived. Let's keep it moving. Side angle, reach out. Rotate the arms. Okay. Breathing in again, just opening up through the chest a bit more. All right, exhale, turn, fold. Listen, we're going to place the hands on the floor. Slide the right foot back and right back up into the air so it's in a straight line. Hold for a second. Bend and twist open once again. And here we're taking this to pigeon pose. You're going to unwind. Gently bring right knee to the floor behind right wrist. Angle the leg in the way that feels good for you. Left knee will be on the floor, and even use the left knee and toes to crawl back. Okay, I'm going to show you some ways you can use props with this in a moment. Okay, breathing in, so lengthen the spine. Exhale, crawl forward, stepping the hands forward, sending your heart forward.
So you might rest on your elbows. Hold for a moment. And if you're able, even just tip your chin up so you can see me here. Now, for me, I can kind of settle in nicely into this posture, this is kind of low. But let's say this doesn't feel great for your knee or ankle or even your hips. You can come up much higher. Can you see me? I'm just sitting up much higher, but you want some support here because there's nothing underneath. It can be a block or a big pillow or cushion. Okay, a bolster here is nice because it's long enough and soft enough that just kind of sits there and it gives you some wonderful support. Just like this. And if I can grab my block, a block can come out front here to rest your forehead. So this could be a nice variation of the pose because it takes some of the pressure off the knee and ankle that's in front here and supports if the hips need to be a little higher. Nice. So finding breath, feeling breath. Noticing sensation. Again, we've got that left leg out behind us, so very similar to that other lunge we did. But I kind of consider this like a collapsed lunge since we've got that right leg on the floor. Noticing the sensations there. Maybe outer hip, glute, and thigh. Maybe some, depending on where the knee is situated and how open the leg is, notice the sensation on the inside of the right leg. All right, 2 more breaths. After that second breath, slowly start to rise, just up onto your hands, not until you're in that back bend at all, but just here, just to lengthen torso at an angle. What we'll do, we'll lean and sit off to the right side. Keep this right knee bent, but you're going to bring the left leg around to the front. You might need to kind of resit yourself on your mat so you're a little bit more centered here. We're going to keep that left leg straight, but we're going to maybe lean back and cross this right ankle over left thigh, flexed foot. Okay, bring the hands behind you and lean back. We're just leaning back so we can slide this left heel towards yourself and keep the heel on the floor. Push into the floor with the hands so you can inhale and lift up through the chest, lengthening the torso. Then you can start sending your chest or heart towards the legs. So very much like that standing position we did, okay? So you can kind of play with the sensation, lean back or bring it forward. You can even bring that left leg even closer. Oh, there you go. Really get into that, depending on what your right leg needs. There you go. So we're taking the time to kind of settle and hold these initial postures, these variations of pigeon pose, this cross-legged position. But we will be going through a sequence that'll just kind of take us through them all without holding them too long. All right, 3 more breaths. Okay, to soften, you might just lean back so you can uncross this right leg. Just send the heels forward a little bit. Just going to make your way into boat pose. So situate yourself so you can be in boat. And boat can be done with heels on the floor like this. Or again, just float the feet up. Nice. Okay, we're breathing in. And the exhale. Cross legs, hands in front or to the side. Hop or step back plank pose. Come on down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, that whole sequence on the other side. So an inhale to extend left leg into the air. Bend and twist. There we go. We're going to unwind and step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Warrior 1. Right heel to the floor behind you. Find your center, rising up. Exhale, opening to Warrior Two. Settle in. There it is. This two, of course, is a hip opener. Warrior Two, then side angle. Takes you a little bit deeper into the sensations of especially that front leg there. We're still in motion, so breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, taking it to down dog. So plant the hands, slide the left foot back and right back up into the air. Feel the strong straight line initially, and then bend and twist open. And then we'll take it to pigeon. So left knee to the floor, angled leg, knee behind the wrist. Checking in, right leg, crawl it back. Use props, even if you just have a block next to you. Okay, that block can be a little park bench to sit on, okay, on that left cheek there. And inhale to extend spine if you're with me. Exhale, crawl forward, lowering your way down. Maybe forehead reaches the ground, or if you're higher up, you might, here's another thing, if you don't have another block, take your fists, stack your fists one on top of the other, and you can rest your forehead here. That way you keep that neutrality in the neck and spine, if you need that. As you settle, of course, there's breath. These holding positions allow for some nice work to happen, okay, within you, especially in the hips here. Okay, any tightness, bound up connective tissue can begin to soften, release, gaining a little bit more mobility and flexibility. If you found you've created some nice space, maybe you can move into that space. That might mean using the right knee and toes to crawl that right leg back a little bit. It might not move much at all. And even lifting the chest a little bit and send your torso forward, just some more length in the spine. Again, you might not move very far, but it's just continuing that nice extension and more space in the body. In a yin yoga practice, you might be encouraged just to hold and not move, not even fidgeting. But feel free to do that here, because that might even kind of help with the process of just those subtle, gentle movements might give in the joints area a little massage. Yeah. Take 3 more breaths. Take your time when you're ready to move, just rising up onto the hands, just really just lifting the torso a little bit, sitting off to the left side. So we can bring that right leg around to the front, resit. Right leg says stay straight. We're going to cross this left ankle over right thigh behind the knee, flexing the foot. Hands behind you to support, so you can lean back and drag that right heel back, and we can begin that process of more hip release. Pushing into the floor to help extend spine, sending the heart towards the leg, or even just simply bringing this right leg closer. That helps too, if you want to get a little deeper into the sensation. Yeah, I like that. A little rocking movement there. Might be very nice. Ooh, yeah. In the hips and low back. If your hands get tired, yeah, just maybe come down to your elbows. You can still work this pose. And 3 more breaths here. After that third breath, we'll make space, maybe lean back or even slide that right heel forward. So we can uncross the legs, set yourself up for boat. There we are. We're going to stay seated after boat. So you're going to inhale, finishing the pose. Exhale, just bring the feet to the floor. We become to cobbler's pose. Okay, just working both legs here now. Scoop up the toes or even just hold onto your ankles or shins. Be sure to extend the spine. As with your inhale, if you would like to fold,
Just exhale and just hinge forward. You might start initially with an extended spine, so long and flat like so, but you're welcome to let the back round, lower the chin. Nice. Breath. Okay. How about 3 more breaths? After your 3rd breath, if you happen to be folded, just going to rise back up. Stay in cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. And just stay here for a moment. Let me demonstrate the sequence that we're going to do, at least the start of it. We'll start in mountain pose, and it will start with that cross-legged chair pose. Okay, it gets into the hips. So we'll just kind of sink, get into the space. You can even get lower, so that's the way you can get lower if you want to, or hands can stay here. We're not going to be here long. Just finding that depth. And then rising back up, and as you're able, taking the arms up into the air with this uncrossed leg, hinging forward so we can step back into a high lunge. Okay, we'll open up to a warrior 2, and we'll continue the flow from here. Okay. All right, so from cobbler's pose back to our boat position, just for a transition. Once you're here, and inhale, lift, lengthen spine. Exhale, core connection, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank pose. If you like, Chaturanga Dandasana or some variation of a flow to get you to downward facing dog. Once here, breathe in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale to extend spine. That same weight shift towards toes if you'd like. Exhale, fold. Now the weight shift into the heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Let's get even taller. Reach high. Exhale, arms to your side. Shake it out. Let it go. Alrighty. Okay. So setting up for that initial part of the sequence. Okay. Soft knees, bent knees. Put weight into your right foot. Core connection when you're ready. Picking up left foot, flexed foot. Kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh. Take your seat, hands on hips or hands on leg, or reaching down towards the floor until you kind of find that stop of the body or depth of the pose, and then rising right back up. Rising up, reach up as you're able, uncross the leg, flexed foot right there. Lean forward as you kick that left leg back, land on your toes, so you'll be in high lunge. There it is. Then an opening into warrior 2. Good. Continuing side angle, reach out, rotate the body. Good. Breathe in right here. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, plant the hands, slide the right foot back and up into the air behind you. You'll be in down dog, straight leg, but bend and twist open. We're going to pigeon, okay? So right knee will come around to the floor, behind right wrist. Left knee comes down. Find your center. We'll inhale, get some length in the spine. Exhale, crawl forward. Again, we're not going to stay here long. Just find the depth of the pose. Maybe just take a nice deep breath when you're here, but we're rising right back up. Just come back up onto the hands. Lift, sit to the side, right side. Swing the left leg around to the front. Resit. Okay, crossing right over left this time. Lean back. So that's the version of pigeon here. Lifting chest up. Long torso, heart towards the shin. Okay. Here's a little challenge if you would like. Lifting left foot, right, or arms out front for a boat-like pose. Okay. Okay, we'll set that heel down. We'll go ahead and uncross. Resit if you need to adjust your hips. Boat pose, breathing in. And exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, or a flow to get you to down dog. Breathe in. Exhale, float both feet back up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Forward fold, monkey pose, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up, reaching into the air. Exhale, arms to your side. Ready to go to the other side, soft knees. Weight to left foot, root to core connection, picking up right foot, kick the soccer ball, cross. Okay, we were just here. Okay, take your seat. Sit back, sit down, get low. Find the personal depth, nice sensation, and we're rising right back up out of it. Reaching up into the sky, uncross the leg, lift the knee, flexed foot, lean forward so you can hinge through the hips, step back into the high lunge, and our opening into Warrior Two. Moving right away into your side angle. Getting to that left inner thigh. Yes, breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, back to down dog, slide or sweep that left foot back and up into the air until you draw a straight line, and then bend and twist open for the hip opener. And pigeon on this side. Left knee to the floor, angled leg, right knee comes down, crawl back. Then come forward through the torso, kind of drawing this line, stretching this line. There, that's nice. Good. Settling in once you're there, breath. And then we're coming right back up onto the hands. Just high enough so you can shift off to left side. Yeah. Bring the right leg around to the front, resit. Cross. Lean back. Lift. Okay. Notice if there's any changes. Okay. Does this feel different? Did something release? Did something open? Make space. Okay. Go for the challenge if you want. Boat pose with that leg crossed. Okay. A lot of work in that leg. Okay. Releasing, coming out of the pose. One more boat pose here. Okay. And then just bring heels to the floor. Okay. And just sit up, just cross legs for a moment, just a breather. Okay. Taking your time, our next position will again be on our backs. So just take your time to roll down onto your backs, draw your knees into chest. Some movement here. Maybe something similar to what you did earlier. Get into the feet. Ankle, circle, flex and point. You certainly did a lot with the feet as far as balancing and just the angles of the feet in your particular poses. Okay, one more cross-legged position. First, just set the feet onto the floor, keep the knees bent. Okay, we're going to cross the left ankle over right thigh. Okay, sometimes we call this reclining pigeon. There is a formal name for this. This is eye of the needle pose. So you'll just pick up the right foot, draw the legs towards yourself. Your left hand and arm becomes the thread, and you'll thread that right through the eye of the needle. Then hold onto the right shin or right hamstring, and you're basically just drawing the legs in towards the chest. Okay, similar sensations on that left leg, perhaps that crossed leg. We'll add something here. We'll extend the right leg up towards ceiling. You might need to unthread the needle there. Walk your hands up that extended leg. Remember this sensation because we're going to repeat this in a different way. Okay. Go ahead and bend that right knee so you can bring the right foot back down to the floor. Uncross the legs. Stay here. Take a breath so everything settles. We'll do the other side. So left foot stays on the floor as we cross right ankle over left thigh. Lifting the left foot up off the floor. Thread the needle through the eye. Clasping fingers around the left shin or hamstring. Just drawing inward. And notice if this does feel any different from the seated version we did or that standing version we did. Is it targeting or hitting any different muscles? They might be in a subtle way. Okay, then extending that left leg up as you're able.
bend the left knee so you can set the left foot back down onto the floor. Uncross. I'm going to have you sit up for a moment. So draw knees in. And then rise up to seated. You can just sit comfortably or even come to another cobbler's pose. So we just did that. Kind of this little leg extension with the cross leg, something like this. We're going to repeat this. You can certainly do it just like this again. Okay? Or even take this to shoulder stand. Maybe even here, a modified version where you're just sitting in your hands like so. Okay? We're taking it all the way up. Okay? We're going to do the same thing. Just cross the leg. And with this, optional, if you're in the full posture, coming down to plow. Okay? So just a different way of kind of doing this pose. Alrighty. So from seated, you can go ahead and just lie flat on your back, legs up, or do that cross-legged version there, or a shoulder stand variation where you're just sitting in your hands. So your hands are right at the waistline, so you can just sit, and then cross a leg. Doesn't matter which one you start with because you'll do both. Or maybe that full shoulder stand where your hands are more in your mid-back. Yeah, that way your hips have a little bit more space so the pelvis can tilt in the right direction to fully extend the legs. And then cross a leg. And then maybe take plow or a variation of plow where that extended leg comes down behind you towards the floor. Okay? Maybe 3 to 5 breaths on one side. Release, change sides, and around maybe 5 or so breaths on the other side. So really just kind of taking your time, listening to your breath and moving with your breath. When you're complete, we'll just eventually make your way back down to the earth. You might just settle for a few seconds, but then find one more back bend. You can certainly repeat bridge pose that we did earlier. You can do the fish pose. You can do a full wheel pose if you like. Just a back bend that would feel good. Excellent. There we go, nice. 3 more breaths, wherever you happen to be. Completing your back bend. Eventually, yes, just making your way back down to the earth. Even find a nice extension through the body. And while you're in this nice stretch, decide what you would like to do next. You might just finish here. Bring your arms down to your side and finish in Shavasana. If you want to throw in a twist, certainly welcomed. You might bring the knees in towards your body, twist to one side, spend some time, and then the other side. Okay, again, just listening to what your body might need at this moment. Move into those additional postures. Twist. Another hip opener. We didn't do happy baby, so you might do happy baby pose here. Anything that feels like a complement to what you've already done, but also some relief work. And moving towards rest. found completion in your moving practice, find your last posture, one that feels relaxing, restful, restorative. Return to the awareness of your breath. Simply be aware of your breathing. And now with this awareness, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Generating a new energy in the body. Movement starting to return to your body. And after your 5th breath, taking your time, move as slowly as you can. Roll to either side of your body. Just a brief pause in this nurturing pose. Maybe just a breath. And continue to move in slow motion from wherever you are, slowly rising. Eventually making your way up to a seated position. Maybe crossing your legs. Long, tall torso with a lengthened spine. Relax your shoulders. Your hands can remain in your lap or bring hands to heart center. Just take one more breath on your own. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.